Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on the channel. Today we are wrapping up the month of March in my reading journal, and I'm so glad you're here with me today because I had a fun time wrapping up the last month of quarter 1. I cannot believe I can say that already, but I can let you know that the quarter 1 flip through has been filmed because of this, and I cannot wait to share it with you in my next video. But today we're focusing on wrapping up March first so we can get to that. And we're currently on the Days Read Pixel. This is one of my favorite trackers that I use as a visual guide each month. On the left hand side is the days that the books that I read each day. So the key for that is above. Anything that has a color is from 1 to 3 books, and the gray represents that I did not read that day. And on the spottier looking graph on the right hand side is when I finish a book, and again most of them are that blue color for just reading one book or finishing one book on that day. Sometimes I do end up finishing 2 on the same day, but it's not very often, and you can see that represented in that little graph. I love these pixels because it just indicates so much of the information in a glance. I love the fact that I can just use this key and go, oh yes, I can see that these trends happen, and there's an interesting trend happening where I finish a book on the 9th and I finish a book on the 23rd of every month, except for the first month for the 23rd. But I like seeing these coming together, and I cannot wait to get to the mid-year stats so we can see even further whether or not these trends continue that way. It's always information that I really enjoy seeing. We're now on the Read the Rainbow challenge page, and I did add 3 books to this. I also feel a little bit cheeky for adding Onyx Storm as the grey, because there is a significant amount of grey on that book cover, but there's also a lot of black. But it's filled it in, and I only have orange to go. And then I think we have no other challenges that I can fill in this point of time. So we flipped right through to the monthly theme, which was animal forms and familiars, and that's why I basically have Rowan Whitethorn as the picture for March. I'm just going to add March's book club read to the page and give it a star rating. Finally, something that's a little bit decent, and I cannot wait to see how that page ends up looking because it's one that I always struggle to fill in, not gonna lie. We're now at the end of the March section. I've obviously already filled in all the information beforehand, but this is my favorite part to share with you all. This is the reading log, and we're now at the fun part of sticking down all the covers onto the page. I really feel like it comes together so nicely when these covers are all there. And I also use a visual guide for the format, which we'll do in a moment, but this page is looking very colourful and I'm very happy with how it's looking. I did try to do a slightly different header this time around with the cursive, and mostly just because I want to try and improve my cursive. I don't have the neatest cursive writing. It's not my easiest font style to work with, and or writing style I should say. So yeah, it's not the greatest looking, but I was trying. I don't know if I'll continue it, but I kind of got sick of doing the capital headers or just writing them in normally. So it was a little bit of fun. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it for April though, because spoiler alert, I haven't even filled this page in yet for April. So I'm now putting on those format covers, and you can see that the majority of my reads were e-books, and that's because I read a lot of e-arcs over March. I was definitely trying to catch up on them, and a couple of audiobooks in there, and then there was one mixed read where I tandem read by listening to it and also reading the physical copy at the same time. And I'm just finishing this page off now with tracking the overall number of the year for each book, because that's something that I introduced this year to this page. And now we are basically done. We're going to flip into the reading data journal, which is where all that information is stored that I really like sharing with you all. We're now at the series tracker page, which is in the global portion of my reading tracker, reading data tracker. And spoiler alert, I still haven't added in my owned TBR to the global portion. So that's something I'm going to hopefully work on in the next few days. But overall, I'm just going to go and fill in the series that I've either started this month or continued on with. There was interestingly 2 series that I started before 2025 and either forgot to add them on or didn't think that I'd be continuing with them. So I had to go and add those on. They're the first 2 added to the list at the bottom there. And then I also added 2 new series to the tracker. There's sometimes you might see a gap where I don't write the title of the series just because I'm not quite sure what that title is going to be. A lot of the times these are books that are either debut books or first books in the series, and they for some reason don't have the Connecting series for book 2 added on already, and they don't have a title for that series. I'm hoping they'll come up soon, but the one that I've added just now I know is a duology, so that's why I wrote down 1 and 2. And then I didn't know if it was the Rose Bargain for the title of Sasha Payton Smith's book series, but I've just written it down because I felt a bit more confident with that one. And that's this page basically done. I do have to fill in the last book of Rebel Blue Ranch and complete that series off. So I've now completed 5 series so far this year, which is very exciting. And for my goal of finishing 20 series this year, I'm right on track. We're now into the 2025 section of the Reading Data Journal, and we're at the Year of a Glance page. I really love this page. It is where I write down all the titles of the books, as you're going to see me do now, and then I mark via their star rating when I finish them on that little calendar above. So for Coming Up Roses, which is the first book on the list, I gave that 5 stars, and you'll see that I'll mark it with the 5-star color, which is pink, for the 2nd of March, I think I finished it on, and it just continues on that way. If the date happens to have 2 books that finish on that same date, I don't think we have that this month, but if it did, I just put down either the first book. If I'm paying attention, it should be the first book, but sometimes in the past I've gone with the highest rating, but I think I've just gone with the first book this time around in 2025. And there you can see the unfortunate segment of March that I did have. I did have 3 2.5-star reads back to back. I don't know if that was just me or if I was just having some really bad reads back to back. It was quite coincidental if it was. But most of the reads that I had were either 4-star and above. I did have 1 3-star read, but other than that, it was a really good month of reading for me over March. I did also read a fabulous book called This Monster of Mine by Shalini Abisakara. I hope I'm saying her last name right. It is a debut romantasy novel. It's set in ancient Rome. If you've followed me on Instagram, you've probably heard me going on about it already so much. It's definitely going to be in my top reads of the year. And if I hadn't have read Two Twisted Crowns last month, it would definitely be going up against Emily Wilde's compendium of Lost Tales. And yeah, I really am enjoying these types of reads that I've been having this year. There's been quite a lot of 5-star reads that I've really, really enjoyed. But there's also a lot of books coming out this year that I'm super excited for. And I know that this little tally that I've got going on my 5-star reads of the year so far will definitely get changed around. We're in the section now where I'm just jotting down books by genre, book by rating. It's this fun little tracking system that I've got. However, I will admit, and I think I mentioned it in my flip through as well, which is in the next video to come, that this page here, the books by genres, I really wish I hadn't have done. I am struggling with it because I don't normally break up my genres by subcategories, and then I think I went too much on it, so I am having a harder time filling in that page. I have been toying with the idea of redoing it, but I also just can't be bothered. So we'll see how it continues for the rest of the year. But the rest of these types of trackers that I've got are working really well. I love them to see where the stats are coming through. Like I've mentioned, I'm heavy on stats, like in insight and wanting to know where I read the most and how I read and all that. It's been really great information to have just at a quick glance. But there's also another page that's coming up that I've really enjoyed using, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. So here's the last one of those pages. It is books by length. And I really like this one because it's interesting to me that I only tend to read books that are between 300 and 500 pages. So the majority of the books end up being from 301 to 400 and then 401 to 500. So I really enjoy seeing that coming together. I did have 2 reads where I read over 500 pages, And I also have just noticed that I can tick off a goal on the other side for April, so I won't mention what it is yet, but that is very exciting that I can go ahead and do that. We're now flipping through to that other page that I mentioned just before, and it's the Stats Omnibus. I absolutely love this page, and it's become one of my absolute favorites in this reading data tracker. I can't remember what pen I was meant to be using on this page. I really have a bad habit of forgetting that, and I could just check back on a video, but I'm like, oh, nah, it's fine. I've got the right pen in my hand. I don't think I did. I think this one was slightly thicker. So it is what it is. It's not too much of a difference. But this page here just has all the stats. It's like a giant table of information, and it could be overwhelming to some people, but I find this so helpful. And I cannot wait to start counting up everything at the end of the year and seeing what my overall stats are. This page here is the library savings, and whilst I absolutely love looking at it, it has been giving me a bit of a headache, just simply because I have been using the library to read books via audiobook with books I already own because I can't be bothered picking the book up. I do have a wrist injury, so it is easier for me to use digital reading. And so for a couple of these books, like Onyx Storm, I read the audiobook of, and I also owned a copy of The Rose Bargain, and I used the audio book function on there to tandem read. So those are books that I read from the library but don't need to pay for because I already owned. So it's just trying to figure out what those are. So that's why I put in brackets that I read from the library, but only 2 of them come to cost something. This is the eArc station that we're working on now, and I'm very happy that my percentage has gone up on NetGalley. And I am trying to figure out right now where I made a mistake, which is I tried to add numbers in the wrong spot. I do fix that, and I do come back to that again. There's actually another change I have to make to that page, I think, from memory. So yeah, that poor little graph got a bit of a workout that day. While I'm waiting for the correction fluid to dry on that page though, I did go ahead and make my March stats header for the stats page that we're going to put together in a moment. These stamps are from Anko, and I always find that they are hard to line up, and also sometimes they don't pick up the ink well enough. But I really like that sort of vintage look, and I wanted to continue it through. So I did take a photo, as you saw, of my February stats page, and then flipped over to this blank page so we can set it up together. And I did end up making a decision about how I was going to set everything up. I think I recently mentioned that I was going to do all 12 stats pages back to back, but I actually ended up going and putting my Q1 stats next to this March page, and I'm so happy I did that, because then that gives it the information right there and then we can continue on with Q2 and have all that information together in the next part. So I'm very happy about that. I did not film that for YouTube. I did film it on my phone, and I do have a lukewarm, I'm not sure if I'm going to post it actually, because I do feel like it was very, very all over the place, because it was my first time setting up the stats page in the journal. So of course I was experimenting. So that one might not just be showing how it was set up, it will just be showing in the flip through. And yeah, like I keep mentioning, that video is coming this week as well, so I hope that you'll enjoy watching that and getting some insight about how this reading journal has been happening and working for me. I will admit that I don't know if you can tell, I can feel it right now. I'm a little bit croaky because I've not been talking nearly enough recently. That's because I had some dental work done, and in that flip through, it was the first day that I could properly talk. I think I did really fine, like with the voiceover that day. I thought I was going to have a hard time talking. There were a few pauses here and there, but that would probably be a good thing since I naturally talk quite fast anyway. But overall, if you could tell in that video, that's why. And also in this video, that if I sound a bit weird, it's just because I'm a little hoarse from not talking, which would be a good thing for some people, since I like to talk a little bit too much. But I am on the recovery, I hope. I had a bit of pain from my extraction that got worse before it got better. But considering my own chronic illnesses that I have, I think that played into it. I am definitely feeling loads better today. I think today is day 6 since the extraction, so I think I'm on the mend, but the pain is still there a little bit, and yeah, don't recommend. Take good care of your teeth. But looking at this page, I've just done the same stats as we usually do. Let's look at some stats real quick. I did a total of 4,476 pages read. My average was 3.7, which was a little bit low, but that's to be expected with 3 2.5s. And I did listen to 24.3 hours of audiobook. I read 7 arcs, that's correct, and I only got 2 new books this month, which was fantastic. I had 4 from the library. 2 books were standalones, the rest were all parts of a series, so 9 of them. And I did try to do book club / buddy reads and readathons, but I don't really feel like I did a lot that month, over March. And on the other side here is all the other stats regarding social media that I've been tracking this year, pacing, where I acquired the books from, my star ratings, and it's all very easy to see there on the screen what they all represent. I do try my best to talk about what's on the page though, because I may have vision impaired people listening to this, but yeah, it was just an overall month of 11 books that I read, and most of them were romantasy, which is funny because I don't tend to like that as a subgenre, but equally that's what a lot of them end up being these days. Just stuck in the college down the bottom of the page, and now that March stats is done, and that means we're at the part where I get to do the flip through and say a farewell to you all. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope you're enjoying these insights into my reading journal each month, and I am looking forward to wrapping up April very soon as well. I'm sorry this one was a little bit delayed. Like I mentioned, this month with dental stuff, I've had a few appointments, and yeah, it's taking up a lot of time, so that's why I can't do these videos as fast as I like. But we're going to flip it back into the main journal to just show off March one more time, and then we'll call this video a day. And I cannot wait to see you in my next one. Until we next meet, I hope you have fun reading or journaling. I hope you're well, and that I'll see you in the next video, which will be, like I've mentioned 1,000 times already, the Q1 flip through. Can you tell I'm excited to get that video out on the channel? I absolutely love flip through videos, and I'll hopefully see you in that next one. Bye everyone.